Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's live AMA with Ledger. I'm Tim from Ledger, and yeah, today I'm just going to be going in and answering any questions you guys throw in the chat to the best of my ability. Apologize in advance if there's anything I cannot answer, but I will do my best. So if you do have any questions, and if you are here, please drop them in the chat. I see there's not too many going on right now. But I will answer what's there, and if I run out of questions, then you'll lead me to my own devices, and I'll show you some other stuff. But feel free to drop your questions. Okay, let's see what we got. My Spanish is not great. I am going to enlist the help of... Actually, that might be Portuguese. Let me just put this in the chat. This is from Marujo Madeira. Apologize if I butchered that. Let me go ahead and copy this. I'll show you right what I'm doing. I'm just going to go right to Google Translate here. I use this a lot, as you can imagine. Portuguese, right. Okay. Good evening. I didn't receive the product I bought, Nano X. I'm Brazilian, and I don't know how to speak another language. Can you please help me with the tracking? It shows that it's stopped, okay? Let me go ahead and get your other question. I do apologize. You mentioned that you can't speak English. Hopefully, I don't know. I'm not sure. Hopefully you can get this information that I give to you in English because I cannot speak Portuguese. But, okay, yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, so basically, with Brazil in particular, there are kind of a lot of shipping issues that we run into. Our shipping agents are always, talking about how Brazil kind of has a tough customs laws and whatnot. I'm no expert on any of that, so I'm not going to get too into details on it. But we are very experienced at helping Brazilian customers. So my answer to this is to please open up a support ticket. The only way we'll be able to help you is if is through a support ticket. We'll have to actually look up your order on through our system and then find it. Shoot, yeah, I don't even know if you're still here. I was gonna try to translate that into Portuguese, but that's not very efficient. Hopefully you get that information. Go to support.ledger.com website or help center and open up a ticket. We do have Portuguese speaking agents that can help you in your native language. It's just I'm not one of them. But yes, and we will track your order and we will give you instructions on what you can do and what we can do together to help resolve it if your order is stuck. Sounds like your order's stuck. Okay. All right. So it looks like the next question is from Technically Bullish. Hi, when 32-bit app version? I'm not sure. I don't think that's on the roadmap. I can't say with any certainty whether it is or it isn't. However, most modern operating systems are 64-bit, so I don't imagine that a 32-bit app version is being developed. But again, I'm not a developer for Ledger, so I can't say for certain. But I can look into that, and if you come to the next live stream, maybe I can get you a more definitive answer on that. Or, as always, you can go to our support center, support.ledger.com, and go to the contact us button at the bottom and fill out a ticket, ask your question, and we'll be able to actually reach out to our devs and get you an answer like within a couple of days via email. It's Hama is asking, which Ledger device is open source? That's kind of a complicated question. We did recently announce a open source roadmap on Twitter, and that's kind of like our plan for going towards open source. There's a lot of considerations. Again, this is all stuff that's kind of outside of my wheelhouse. Like I'm really good at being the guy that's like, hey, you're having issues connecting to this dApp. Let me show you how to do that. For big questions like that, I'm really not the authority on it, but we did release an article about that, and there are plans to go more open source. And so let me see if I can find that. Let me see if I can find that for you. But that would be the best way to get information on that. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Oop. Okay. Oops. Sorry. Okay, cool. Found it. All right. So yeah, our CTO Charles Guillemet, he put out this whole tweet thread. It's awesome. It'll give you way more technical knowledge than I am able to give you myself. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop this here and check out this article. Open, or this tweet thread, I should say. I'm calling it an article, but it's a tweet thread. Cool. All right, yeah, check out that tweet, and that'll give you more information on our plans to go open source. All right. So sad I bought my Ledger before two great discounts. Yeah, I know we have an awesome promotion going right now. In fact, this is probably the best promotion that I've seen from Ledger since I started the company. It's 30% off colored nanos, which usually our promotions are like you can save a certain amount for a one-time purchase of a nano or on a specific device. But this is for the Nano S Plus and the Nano X, and you can buy multiple and receive the 30% discount. I know because I tested it myself. So yeah, it's a really, really cool discount. And sorry you were a little bit too early on that. But it's never too late to get a good birthday, Christmas present for one of your friends or family members that are hoping to get into crypto. Let's see. Camille is asking, when will the crypto black card be available in the US, the crypto life card? I'm not entirely sure on that and like when that will be available. It's powered by Ledger and you can sign up for it in Ledger Live. And it does connect to your Ledger accounts in Ledger Live. But it's actually operated by our partner banks, and they're a totally different company that actually manages like the actual like credit card portion of it. And of course, Ledger manages, like the accounts and stuff. So it's really up to them and whatever challenges they're facing on rolling out to different regions. So I actually don't have a lot of insight into like what that's going to look like. We're kind of just like, well, I don't know about we all at Ledger, but me specifically, I'm kind of blind on that. I don't really know when it'll be available or what that will look like. I do know though that they are working on it, so definitely be on the lookout for it. See. Dennis is asking, when are the AMAs scheduled and where are they announced? So we have a lot of different AMAs. I'm going to go here. I'm going to pull up our social media schedule for you guys, and I'm going to share it with you. If I can find it amongst all these links, all these favorites that I have. All right, cool. Okay, this is kept pretty up to date. This is our AMA and onboarding schedule. And this will cover YouTube, and Twitter. that's what this will cover. So we have the EU team and we have the US based team. So obviously this is the US based team, and then if you do go to that link and you look at the schedule, you'll see that Monday's blank for the US team. But this next coming week, so this coming Monday, so like 5 days from now or whatever, I'll be doing the AMA here from the US team, and it's just temporary. It's just to cover for the EU team while they have some other stuff they're working on. So I'll be doing that on Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, same time as this one. But other than that, this schedule right here is set in stone. All right. All right, let me make sure I'm not missing anything. All right, cool. Hi, Guy. What's up, Kevin? Ledger devices are real devices in Best Buy and US. Yeah, definitely. So Best Buy is a authorized reseller, and it's a really cool authorized reseller because you can actually go there and like see the devices, and you can buy them in cash. So there's no digital record. It's probably the most incognito way to get like a crypto hardware wallet that I know of, like of any crypto hardware wallet. Yeah, so Best Buy, the ones in Best Buy are legitimate, and yes. All right. Take me bullish. Let's see, make sure. Oh, you want to use it in virtual machine? Yeah, I don't think that it'll be possible unless unless you can figure out a way to make it work. Like we basically, so here I can show you what our supported system requirements. All right, cool. So these are our system requirements. So if you're running virtual machine, you're gonna have to have a machine or a simulated environment that simulates one of these operating systems that is supported. Otherwise, it may or may not work. There are some other versions of Linux that I've gotten reports from users that they get it to work, but since the application wasn't designed for that specific version of Linux, it's really spotty on like what will work and what won't work and how well it'll work, whether it'll work at all. But here, I will show this for you, system requirements, just so you can get some visibility on that. All right. Crypto Commons is asking, when margin trading on Ledger? Yeah, that's a good question. But probably, well, I don't want to say probably not going to happen because I don't know what the future holds. But I know that as things currently are in Ledger Live, since Ledger is, it's definitely just a self-custody, like buy and hold kind of solution. We're not a bank. We're not. We don't actually custody any user funds. And the only way to perform margin trading, to do things like that, is to essentially have collateral and basically give up custody of your coins in order to do these other functions. And I just don't know if that'll ever be a thing in Ledger Live. I can't say for certain. I guess potentially maybe in the future there could be like a Discover dApp, like if you play around in Discover tab, that may, but I don't know. I really can't say. I'm not on the development team. But that would be my take. I would say probably not. Yeah, no problem, Technically Bullish. You're most welcome. Smile Ego is asking how to stake in Ledger. Well, that's a good question. It depends on what asset you are hoping to stake. There are many different assets that you can stake right in Ledger Live. You can do Cosmos, you can do ETH, you can do now Polygon through the Stater app. You can do Solana, Tron, and I know I'm missing a whole bunch. There's a whole bunch you can stake right through Ledger Live. So I would kind of want to know like what specific asset you're hoping to get more info on. But I can show you some stuff right now from my Ledger Live. Switch that. Okay, cool. That did switch over. All right. Let me clear that. Let me go to Ledger Live. Go to accounts. Do I have any? I got a Sol account here. Okay, cool. So for like Solana, for instance, you can just click and look. I already have it staked. My tiny amount of Solana. You can see right here. I got my available balance, which is 0.03. I got my delegate. I staked 0.02 Solana, and that's really just so I can have a stake account, so I can show people what it looks like to stake Solana. And then so if you don't have this, if you haven't already done it, you can click here and you can start the process. It does default on Ledger by Figment because obviously we want people to stake with our own validator, but you don't have to use ours. You can go to here to show all, and you can search for any Solana validator. And then you would, obviously you'd have to have your Nano plugged into your computer. And after you chose your validator, you would hit continue and stake your assets. And they kind of all are very similar, like how they look with this interface, like as in like you open up your you open up your account that you want to stake your assets through, and then you can just like do it all from right there. However, if you do have ETH, such as like right here, it's a little bit different. You'll see like this ETH, there isn't a link to actually stake ETH because ETH is a little bit different. To stake ETH or Polygon, you would have to go to the Discover tab right here. And then, you can even liquid stake BNB through Stater. So Stater Labs, these buttons will let you stake Polygon or BNB. You can stake your ETH through Kiln right here. You can also stake it, I think, at the bottom down here. Yeah, through Lido. So there's definitely options, and And to be honest, each staking protocol looks a little bit different. They're like they have small like Polkadot, for instance. You have to bond your dot, choose your nominators, and then stake it. You have to do all these things, and you have to undo it in the reverse order, and it's very technical. So I would really need to know like which crypto you're trying to stake, and then I can give you much more specific information on how to stake that crypto. So if you are here, drop that in the comments, and I will try to get around to you. So smile ego. I'll keep a mental note of that. All right. Sweet. Looks like we got Quentin here answering some questions. Thank you so much, Quentin, for that. So let's see. Where are we at here? All right. It's Hama. Yeah, you're very welcome. Yeah, I hope I answered your question. Hope it helps out. Okay, so Dennis Orr is asking, what is the latest firmware version for the Nano X? And I missed some updates. Is it safe and possible to update in one step to the latest version? Most likely, yeah. So here, let me show you. Let me pop in. I know I have a Nano X. I think this one is not on the most up-to-date firmware. Let's plug it in and see what's going on. All right, let's switch here to your big monitor. Let me move that Nano S Plus out of the way. I'll plug in this Nano X. I'm going to covertly enter my PIN. Okay, cool. We are in. I'm going to set that down. And then back over here to Ledger Live. Let's go to the My Ledger tab. We are going to allow that connection. Oh, no, I lied. I am up to date on the firmware on this device. So yeah, no. So if it wasn't up to date, I forgot that I updated the firmware on this thing. Yeah, so you would see the orange banner at the top. Even if you are really far back in firmware, let's say you're on like firmware like 1.6 or something crazy far back, like you may have to do multiple firmware updates. Like I think the most I've seen is 2, like one firmware update to get you to version 2.0.1, and then another firmware update to get you beyond that. And it's perfectly safe to do. You'll be fine. Worst case scenario is sometimes we do see this on devices with older firmware, that when you go to update your firmware, your device, for whatever reason, just decides to factory reset itself. It does not happen very often. It's actually quite rare, but it does happen sometimes. So if that happens, just be sure to have your recovery phrase handy. So that would be my only advice to you, and I guess my only question is, do you have your recovery phrase? If you still have your recovery phrase written down somewhere safe, then you really have nothing to worry about, because worst case scenario, your device resets itself, you update the firmware, you re-enter your keys, your seed phrase, and then boom, you have full access to all your accounts again, no harm done. But if you did lose your seed phrase, and your actual Nano is the only means you have to sign transactions because you no longer have your recovery phrase, then you should actually remove all your crypto from any account tied to your ledger before you update that firmware, because just in the rare, off chance that your Nano does reset itself during that process, because if that happens, it would be a permanent loss of funds unless you were to find your recovery phrase. Like, no one would be able to help you recover those funds. So yeah, if you have your recovery phrase, you're definitely safe to update. If you do not have your recovery phrase, withdraw all funds. Temporary accounts, usually to an exchange, is this the easiest. Unless you happen to have like a second Nano or a second hardware wallet that you can move your funds to. And then update your firmware. All goes well, great. Send the funds back. Or actually, disregard that. If you did lose your seed phrase, at that point you would want to generate a new seed phrase. Now that I'm really thinking about that, I kind of get in the weeds sometimes on these answers. But yeah, like now I'm just speculating at this point. So if you have any more information to throw in the chat based on anything I just said, if you have any concerns, drop it, and then I'll come back around and I'll address it better for you. All right, cool. Oh, and the latest firmware version for the Nano X is 2.2.1, it looks like. All right, cool. All right, so looks like G2 1999 is asking any plan for Ledger to support moving up and rebagging Polkadot. I don't know if I'm not really sure I understand what you mean by that. I'm not sure what rebagging Polkadot is. Yeah, I'm not sure what that means. We definitely do fully support Polkadot. You can stake it in Ledger Live. You can, hold it in Ledger Live. You can, send and receive, like pretty much most things you can do with Polkadot, like you can do in Ledger Live. Maybe there are actually some like features of Polkadot. Polkadot is extremely complex that you may, I mean, if you're here, you probably aren't doing this, but you may be. But like if you're like doing certain things with like parachains and stuff, you may get more technical and have to connect to Polkadot.js in order to do that. But for like the average user, like Ledger Live fully supports it. If you have more information, more specifics to your question, drop them and I'll do my best to answer. Although I will admit, I am not a super big expert on Polkadot. It is very complex. All right. Looks like Quentin's helping technically bullish right now, work through his issue. I'll go ahead and move on. All right, cool. So we got, and make sure I'm not skipping anybody here. I do that sometimes. But if you see it from my end, the comments, like it jumps around. It's really easy to accidentally do that. All right. Okay, cool. I think we got it here. All right. So G299 is asking another question. Best way to stake Matic. I see ERC20. All right. Let's do this. Let me switch back to the big monitor. Let me go back to my accounts. Make sure I got some Matic. Looks like I got some Matic here, and I also have some Matic as a token in my ETH account. So let's go to the Discover tab. We're going to go. So through Ledger Live, you can stake your Matic through the Stater Labs Polygon Liquid Staking app right here. So you're going to want to go to the Discover tab, find this. Oh, actually, I have the wrong nano plugged in. I'm going to go ahead and take this nano off. I'm going to turn it off by holding both buttons, powering it off, down. And I'm going to plug this other nano back in, which is the owner of both of those accounts that you just saw, the ETH and the Matic. All right. Get that one ready. All right, let's go to this one right here. Let's continue. All right, cool. So it is detecting the Matic inside my ETH account. So one thing about Matic that I know I've mentioned it before, but it's not super intuitive. It's actually kind of weird, although there's a good reason for it. But Matic actually, to stake your Matic, it actually has to be on the ETH network as a token, and that's how you stake your Matic. So through this, you won't be able to stake your Polygon if it's on the mainnet. Let me switch back and show you what I mean. All right, so if I go back to these accounts, you'll see that I've got these two accounts right here. I've got Polygon right here, Matic, and I've got Ethereum, ETH. And then within this ETH account, I've got this Matic account right here, this sub account right here. And you can see it's blue. It matches the blue of the ETH account. So this is Matic on the Ethereum network as a token. So this is actually the Matic that you have to stake. So if you have your Matic like in a purple account, like on the Polygon mainnet, you will actually have to convert it into Matic on the Ethereum network. Of course, the easiest way to do that would be through like a centralized exchange. You can do it through a bridge. Like you can go to like the Plasma bridge and swap between Polygon and Ethereum tokens. But honestly, bridges are kind of, I don't want to like overuse the word sketchy because it's not that they're sketchy. It's just that like a lot can go wrong. And sometimes it takes like hours for the transaction to go through. And like unless you're like a power user and like you really like know how to like track things on the blockchain and to be able to like undo any potential like mess up or anything, like there's really no one you can like reach out to for help most of the time with some of these bridges, except for Ledger Support. We're happy to help. So if you ever into a situation, you're definitely free to reach out to us and we'll do our best to help you. But yeah, it can be quite frustrating. So for most users, I usually just recommend like let's say you use Coinbase, you can send your Polygon back to Coinbase, and then you can re-withdraw it from Coinbase, but just select the Ethereum network instead of the Polygon network. And when you do that, it'll get dropped right into your Ethereum account right here as a token instead of your Polygon account. Because honestly, these two accounts, they actually share the exact same public wallet address. Because Polygon is an EVM chain, so it's built off of Ethereum. And so this address is the same as this address. The only difference is this address exists on the Polygon blockchain, whereas this address exists on the Ethereum blockchain. Yeah, let's see. I think I talked enough about that. So we have, where are we? So we have Matic right here in the ETH account. I'm gonna go back here to Discover tab, go back to Polygon, liquid staking through Stater. Okay, cool. So then let's say we want to do the max. We can do the max right here. I think there's actually a Stater Labs Nano app. Let's see what happens when it wants us to stake this. Let's check in our wallet. All right, let's continue. Checking app dependencies. So it looks like I don't have the right app, so it wants me to install it. So it wants me to ask for my permission to connect to a Ledger Manager, my Ledger tab, which will let it check for apps. And okay, cool. So now it sees that I do have the Stater Labs app, and it's asking me to open it. And I can open it. And then, oh, please enable contract data. So let's go ahead and exit out of this. Go ahead and exit out of this. Let's go ahead and exit out of that. And let's go and exit out of that. And let's go to the Ethereum app. Ethereum. Settings. Yeah, look at that. Blind signing, disabled. That has to be enabled. So now it sees enabled. Okay. Make sure that's the right one. Yep. Okay, back. Quit. All right, let's try that again. Let's see what happens this time. All right, maximum amount. Stake Matic. Continue. Now I've already granted access for Ledger Live to through this Nano to access the My Ledger tab to establish that secure connection. And since I have not disconnected the Nano, I don't have to authorize that again. You only have to do that per connection. So if I were to disconnect this and then reconnect it, I would have to go through the genuine check process again and authorize it from the Nano. Then right now it's asking me to verify this transaction. But to be completely honest, I actually don't want to because I like to keep my Matic inside my wallet as a, let's see, as a token, and I don't want to burn the ETH. So it's looking like the max fees for this are going to be 0.017 ETH, which is quite a lot. Let's real quick, I'm going to reject that. Let's go over here. Let's go to CoinGecko. Let's look at Ethereum. And let's go 0.017. Yes, that would be about potentially up to $31 in fees to stake about 38 cents worth of Matic. So I really don't want to do that. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just deny that. However, if I were to have approved that, then it would take the Matic out of my account. And it would send it to Stater Labs, and then they would stake it. And then in return for that Matic that we send to Stater Labs, they will deposit Matic X tokens into your account. And Matic X tokens are different than actual mainnet Matic tokens, but it represents your stake through Stater Labs for your Matic that you staked. And so this is what's called liquid staking. And so you can actually trade these tokens. You can send them between wallets. You can do whatever you want to do with them. You can swap them back out for regular Matic or for other tokens. But it will, the balance will grow in your wallet, and you won't receive staking rewards like you would like on-chain transaction, like you can see like through like other different chains. That you receive staking rewards like regularly, and it shows up the transaction. Your balance will simply just of Matic X tokens will simply just grow, and then when you're ready to withdraw your stake, you'll get that much one-to-one value of Matic back. So it's a little confusing, but that's how you stake your Matic. That was a really long-winded answer to your question, And of course, you chose Matic is one of the more complex ones because it involves liquid staking, but not a big deal. I hope that answered your question on that. All right, cool. Quentin is still helping, technically bullish. That's cool. All right. Flavio is asking, is it possible to update the firmware in the Ledger Live in an Android phone? Absolutely. So the main thing, the really one thing you have to keep in mind with firmware updates is that it's a quite a large update that cannot be facilitated through a Bluetooth connection. So the only restriction for the firmware update is that it has to be a cabled connection. It has to be wired in. So you can do that from any computer, Mac OS, Windows, Linux, whatever kind of computer you have that's compatible. Or you can do it from an Android phone because you can actually connect your Nano directly to your Android phone via cable. Any of your Nanos, the Nano S, Nano S Plus, or Nano X, they can all work via cable on Android. However, iOS does not allow that connection type. The Lightning port to USB-C connection doesn't work on iOS. So if you're an iPhone user, then that's the only time you have to have another device to update your firmware. But honestly, even if you're an iOS user, most people like you can update your firmware from somebody else's computer or from somebody else's phone if they have an Android phone without ever touching any of your crypto. You don't have to add your accounts in. So you can basically install Ledger Live onto someone else's device, phone or computer, and you can hook up your Nano to it, update your firmware, and then uninstall Ledger Live, and there will be no trace of anything left behind. There will be no possible way for anyone to even view what crypto you hold. This would require you to add your accounts into that Ledger Live version and then not uninstall it when you leave. So as long as you just install Ledger Live, connect your Nano, update firmware, uninstall, it leaves no trace behind. That could be tied back to you or what crypto you may or may not hold. So yeah, that is my spiel on firmware updates. Okay. Okay. Scott Bender is asking, first stating, I want to move all my crypto off of Voyager when they open it back up. Not planning to stake, just store. Which Ledger device is best? Well, Scott, I would say all Ledger devices have the same amount of security. So if you're just buying and holding, I would say it more depends on what device you're using to manage your crypto. Like I said, if you are an iOS user, if you have iPhone, and you manage your crypto and you're used to managing your crypto through your phone, it's probably best to get a Nano X because that is the most expensive device that we have right now available. But the Nano X has Bluetooth, and that would let you connect to your iPhone and still manage your crypto through your iPhone. But if you're Android or if you're on desktop and you don't really touch your crypto very often, you're just buying and holding for the long run, honestly, I really like the Nano S Plus. It's a really sleek little device. It's much less expensive, smaller price tag. It's almost half the cost of the Nano X. And the only main difference is it has a slightly smaller screen, but honestly, the screen is really bright and clear and easy to read. Not that the Nano X is not, but it's got a really nice screen on it. It's also got the USB-C power port. So it's easier to connect it USB-C to USB-C cable, which is what you would need for your Android phone. Yeah, like for instance, I'm also using USB-C to USB-C cable to connect this to the Mac that I'm using, Mac OS. And it doesn't have a battery, but yeah, it's just a little bit cheaper. Yeah, so it really just depends on what device you're using and what your needs are. But no matter what solution you choose, it is going to be a lot more secure than assets held on Voyager. It'll be self-custody. The self-custody part of the Nanos is equivalent through all the devices. The things that change are just the extra features, like what's available, like specifically to that device. But if you did want to stake, you'd also be able to do that from any device. All right, cool. Really good questions today, guys. Let's see. Leo saying any updates about Ledger Recover? Well, maybe not any specific updates. I don't know if you've had a chance to like see kind of some of the material that we've been putting out. So I would need to know like what you've been like spun up on. But we've released a lot of really good information about like kind of how Ledger Recover works. This tweet thread is a little old, but it's really good. It's another one from our CTO Charles Guillemet. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. Pull it up for you. But basically, he goes into like heavy technical detail on how hardware wallets work, how Recover works. It's really, really good. Let me see if I can find it for you. Bear with me just 1 minute, please. Okay, there's that one. Sorry, I'm just like basically scrolling through his tweets right now looking for this. Oh, this is actually pretty good too. Here it is. All right, I found it. We're gonna go ahead and copy link tweet. Yeah, check out this tweet thread. It's a 29 length tweet thread, so it's pretty crazy. So Ledger CTO on hardware wallets and Recover. Yeah, check this out. If you haven't already read this, I definitely recommend it's worth a read. Cool. All right. And bloop, bloop. Okay. All right. Catalina is saying, I received my ledger a couple of days ago and I want to set it up, but I don't want to get the last firmware version. How can I use it with a past firmware version? So you can choose to use your ledger with the firmware version that it currently has installed. However, it's not possible to revert back to a previous firmware version. So your option would be to not update the firmware, which is not advisable because your Nano will work for quite some time, probably on whatever firmware version it was received from the factory on. However, eventually you'll get to a point where after enough updates and changes have been made to the crypto space as a whole, that your device will no longer have the ability to like really connect very well to dApps and even to Ledger Live. So eventually your firmware version will get deprecated and no longer be functional. It will take quite a while for that to happen, but it will happen eventually. So I definitely recommend staying up to date on firmware. Gen Crypto is saying when Ledger stacks. Yeah, that is so. It's still this summer. Is the release date on that? I don't really have too much specific. I believe August was floated officially, but I would have to really look into that. But yeah, so I don't have any updates on that. Sorry. Cool. Looks like Quentin answered that question about Polkadot. Awesome. All right. Okay. Yeah. Technically bullish. You're asking about the new Kepler browser wallet update. We've had actually a couple reports. A couple people have come in and said that they have trouble connecting to Kepler after the new update. Let's dive into this. Let's see. You said you're using a Nano X. Yeah. Okay. Cool. You're using a Nano X. All right. Yeah. We'll plug this Nano X back in. See if we run into any issues connecting. I think I'm gonna need to install Cosmos app. Okay. Got that. Do I have the correct app? I do. Sweet. Okay. Cool. We got the app. Let's make sure we're not in the cool. So if you ever leave like Ledger Live open, oh, let me show you what I'm doing. If you ever leave Ledger Live open and you stay in the My Ledger tab, this is just a little tip I'm throwing in right now. And you try to and you have like Ledger Live minimize and you try to connect to some other like wallet or DApp or something, like you're probably going to get a connection error. And that's because your Nano already has a secure connection to Ledger Live, and your Nano can only ever have one secure connection at a time. So anything else that tries to connect while your Nano is already connected will automatically fail. And normally it'll cause connection issues just across the board. Like Ledger Live will error out, everything will just error out on you. So yeah, so we're not in the My Ledger tab. So let's go back here. Let's find Kepler. Tron. There it is. All right, cool. Let me plug this in. I did connect to Kepler earlier today with my Nano S Plus, and it was not an issue. But let's try it with the Nano X. Let's add a wallet. Let's import an exit. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Let's start over. All right. Kepler, boom. Let's add a wallet. Let's connect hardware wallet. Let's connect our ledger. Let's call this Tim's Nano X. Go next. Let's go next. See what happens. Cool. Cosmos. We're good. Okay. I don't want any of these chained. I'm just going to do Cosmos. Finish. So it looks like it does let us connect. However, I don't have a atom balance on this ledger. So let's switch back to this one. See what Cool. I have a little bit of Cosmos in here. Looks like I have a little bit of atom on osmosis as well. Got random crypto all over the place. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the Nano X. I am going to copy my address. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back to the Nano S Plus. I'm going to send some of this atom to that other address. And we're going to send just 0.01. We're just going to send a small amount. Actually, I'll send a little. And 0.1. We'll send 0.1. That way we definitely have enough to pay the fees on the way back. So now I'm going to have to unplug the Nano X. I'm going to have to authorize it from the Nano S Plus, who owns that account. Let me go ahead and covertly put in my PIN. All right. On the Cosmos app, right there. Open that up preemptively. And then we don't need a memo. We don't need anything else. Go ahead and go next. And we're going to send this Cosmos. Please review it. So it's looking like it's letting me send it on the Nano S Plus. I'm going to approve it. And then Cosmos is pretty quick. So it should go pretty quick. Let's go back over to Tim's Nano X. Look at that. Already. Cosmos is so quick. It's crazy. Okay, so now we have 94 cents worth of Cosmos in this account. Let's send it back to the other account now using the other Nano, the Nano X. Let's see if it allows us to sign this transaction. All right, let me plug the pin in real quick. Okay, Cosmos app is still open. Let's go to Nano S Plus. Let's copy the address. Let's go back to the Nano X account. Let's send it. This one, wallet address. Let's send it all back. Looks like I lost a few cents on this in network fees. That's okay. I like to support the Cosmos validators as much as I can. All right, cool. Let's approve it. Please review. It looks like it's going through. Let's see what happens. Okay. And oh nope, there we go. It's success. Okay. Yeah, no, it let me from my Nano. Let's see. Let's make sure. Yeah, and it came back. Yep. Okay. Yeah, weird. So I would say like if you're having oh, yours freezes on step 2. Okay. So is it Kepler that's freezing or is it your Nano that's freezing? Which one is it? And also, is your Nano on the most up-to-date firmware, and do you have the most up-to-date Cosmos app for your Nano? Um, that could definitely be a key factor here if your app needs to be updated. That's very common with connecting to these third-party wallets and your firmware as well. So yeah, so if you can drop that. Yes. All right, cool. Let me try to scroll. I want to make sure I didn't miss any questions here. Oh, we saw 15 minutes. We saw so much time, guys. All right. Um, Dennis, no, that's not the version with Recover. The that version has not been released yet. So yeah. All right. Hmm. Okay. Let's see. Any way to stake Matic without getting a different token? As I am a U.S. citizen, that will be a table event. I believe so. Let me see. Oh, oh, actually, you know what? I don't think so. Hmm. Let's see. All right, so go to. Here, let me show you what I'm doing right now. I'm going right to the Polygon staking website. Let me plug in the other Nano. This Nano actually has a little bit of Polygon. Okay, Ethereum app. It's all right. Got the ETH app open. Connect through MetaMask. Let's make sure our MetaMask is on the right account. Got it right here. Okay. Yep. Got that account. Go next. We're gonna connect. All right. So we're connected to the Polygon staking website. Let's go my account. Become a delegator. It already detects the again. This has to be Matic on the Ethereum blockchain. All right. So let's see. Looks like all right. Oh, these guys take a 0% commission. That sounds kind of cool. Let's try that. All right. We're gonna do let's stake. This is gonna cost about $2 in fees. That's fine. I'm good with that. Let's stake a little bit. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so let's stake not all the Matic, but maybe like 10 of those Matic tokens. Let's see if it lets us do that. Okay. So right here, this is a token approval. So if you see here, check out this sweet app that I have here. It's called the Fire Web3 app. So this pops up alongside MetaMask, and it just gives you more information. It's letting you know what you're about to do. So I'm about to give this contract approval to access infinitely my Matic tokens in this wallet. Token approvals are something that you have to do, but it is important to understand what you're doing. So basically, I am going to give this smart contract the ability to access all of the Matic in my wallet. That's what it's asking for right there. And so it's not a big deal as long as you trust that smart contract. This is staking.polygon.technology. This is Polygon's main staking website. So I do trust this website. I don't believe that they're bad actors or anything. So I'm okay with giving them permission because I know that they're just going to stake my Matic. I'm going to earn rewards. Everything's going to be good. However, one thing to keep in mind when signing token approvals is that smart contracts are always have some vulnerability. Like not like necessarily they're going to get hacked, but they all have the ability to get hacked. It's just code that was written by a person. It's a smart contract to execute a specific set of functions on your behalf. And so granting a contract an infinite value for token approval creates a possibility that sometime in the future, if you forget to withdraw that token approval, that if that contract, let's say staking.polygon.technology gets hacked in the future, that hacker potentially could access and steal any Polygon Matic tokens for any user that has an approval through that contract. So when you hear about like some wallets getting hacked and drained, like this is one way that that can happen. So it is important to revoke your approvals. However, check out this cool update from MetaMask. I'm sure it's not that new, but right here you can actually set a custom spending limit. So right here, this website's asking for an infinite, but we're gonna say, nah, you can only do this much, up to 10 Matics. That's all I want to give you access for. So we're gonna set that spending limit right there in MetaMask. We'll go next. That way, even if this smart contract does get like exploited or whatever, they still can't access the majority of my Matic. Only what I'm allowing them in order to stake right now. So let's see what happens when I do that. Okay, we want to verify the selector. Okay, this is going to grant the token approval. Oh no, look at all these fields I have to approve. Okay, cool. It's actually not that bad. Okay, sweet. So then we got the token approval. Now we are giving this contract approval to access these tokens and stake them on our behalf. Now let's delegate. Ah, see, this is a transaction that costs money right here, is that. So it's going to cost $12 for me to delegate my assets here. Let's just do it. Let's just do it because I want to have a little bit of stake Matic in this wallet so I can show people what that looks like. I should have enough. Yeah, we should be good. All right, cool. Let's do that. All right. We are sending these assets out of the wallet. I believe this is going to work the same way. It's liquid staking. I believe we are going to get some Matic in return, but we're gonna find out for sure. All right, take that. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. Transaction in progress. I will roll back here. I'll let that keep going. May take a minute, may take a few minutes. So I'll continue on answering questions while that's doing its thing. All right. Will we ever be able to stake Cardano and ETH directly on Ledger Live? Yes, yes, and yes. So right now you have to stake your Cardano through the through a third-party wallet like Yoroi or hang on a second. Sorry, didn't mean to cut off. Look at that, delegation complete. All right, sweet. So let's give it a couple more minutes and then we'll check the account and we'll see what that looks like. Let me go back to the main shop. All right, yeah, to pick up right where I left off. So right now that is a thing, but I do believe functionality for Cardano is being built out. And ETH you can already stake directly through Ledger Live. You just have to do it through one of the third-party providers in the Discover tab that I showed it earlier. But just in case, let's just go and let's check it out. Here, let's, in case you weren't here, in case you just popped in. So if you go to the Discover tab, you can stake your ETH. So Kiln is really cool. If you have a whole lot of ETH, you can become your own validator by staking through Kiln. But since you are going to become a validator, you have to actually have the full 32 ETH. So for most people, myself included, this is just not an option. But it is there for those that have a lot of ETH and want to run their own validator. You can do that right here through Ledger Live, which I think is really, really cool. Then you also have... Right, we no longer have Rocket Pool. So you have Lido. So through the Lido app, you can stake any amount of ETH. And like I mentioned before, it is liquid staking. So you will stake your ETH and you will receive ST ETH in return. All right, so let's go to our account. Let's see. Go and look at it on MetaMask. So we paid those outrageous fees. It looks like it looks like the Matic has been withdrawn from the account. Yeah, honestly, I don't think this is liquid staking. I think this is different. I'm gonna have to wait and look into this a little bit more. But I know that for ETH, it definitely is liquid staking. Cool. So let's see. Okay. Um, Supun Peta, sorry if I mispronounced your name, is asking, can you send any ERC20 token to the ETH address, even if it's not supported by Ledger Live? That's an excellent question, and the answer is yes, you can. So basically, you'll see here, if you go to the accounts, so you see here, like normally you send all your ERC20 tokens just straight to your ETH address right here in Ledger Live. It'll show up as a token like this inside the account. However, there are times that some users send a token, ERC20 token to their ETH address. It goes through, everything looks good. Then it never shows up in Ledger Live because it's Ledger Live simply doesn't have any way to like view that token. It doesn't have the contract address, so it doesn't recognize that token in the wallet. But it's important to remember that your crypto never actually gets stored in Ledger Live. When you deposit to your ETH account in Ledger Live, you're not actually depositing funds into Ledger Live. Ledger Live can be totally uninstalled from your computer. You can delete all your accounts, set your computer on fire, and walk away, and it will have zero impact on your crypto. So when you set up Ledger Live, you have your recovery phrase inside your Nano, and from your recovery phrase, you derive your wallet addresses. And so when you add an account to Ledger Live, you're only sharing the public wallet address of that account with Ledger Live. Then Ledger Live is able to go ahead and ping the block explorer and that blockchain specifically and pull in data for your account, which is all public information. So for that reason, it's perfectly safe 100% of the time to send any single ERC20 token that exists to your ETH wallet in Ledger Live. And if it doesn't show up, we have a couple tools that we can use to help you recover those. The easiest and the newest, and I think I've sent more people this Help Center article than any other Help Center article because it happens so often. But you go here and you go to the Discover tab, and then you find the Zerion app right here. Zerion. You open it up, and it's going to automatically detect all your assets on all your EVM chains in Ledger Live, whether or not it's supported by Ledger Live or not. So check this out. See, I have, it's got our right here. It's even got the Polygon that I just staked right here. Balance 10 Matic staked. It's detecting that. It really detects everything. Anything you have in your wallet. So even if you have a token that doesn't show up here in your accounts tab, here in the Zerion tab, it will likely show up. It's likely supported by Zerion, finds almost anything. And then from here, you can actually send, swap, and do some other stuff. So you can actually make your transaction right from here. There may be rare cases where you have like some very obscure token that not even Zerion can find. So far, it hasn't happened yet. But if that does happen, then you can just use MetaMask. You can connect your ledger to MetaMask, and you can add any contract address for any token to MetaMask, and you can recover your assets that way. So there will never be a situation where sending a token to your ETH address results in any permanent loss of funds. It may just be a pain to recover it if you can't find it with the Zerion app. All right, looks like we are almost out of time, so I'm going to try to kind of power through a couple more of these questions if I can. Will Ledger ever consider a DCAing option? That would be awesome if that can happen. Yeah. Let me just make sure that I didn't. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Demario for sure. So we do actually have one option. It's called Stacking Sats. It's right here in the Discover tab as well. But it's only for Bitcoin. So if you're a big Bitcoin person and you're trying to DCA into Bitcoin, you can use Stacking Sats right here, which is really cool because you can set it up and it'll buy Bitcoin at whatever frequency you want in whatever amount you want. I think starting at 10 euro per month is like the lowest. And it'll auto deposit that right into your Bitcoin account in Ledger Live. You don't even have to think about it. It'll just do that for you, and it'll stack sats in your Bitcoin account. But I think right now, that's the only option right now for DCAing for now. Hopefully that will change in the future. Okay. Let's see. GTube 1999. What about the tutorial on Ledger website? Is that still a valid tutorial? Let me see what your last question was. I find that. Okay. Oh, yeah, probably. For staking Matic and stuff. Yeah, if it's on our website, it's probably pretty good. You can probably follow that. And if you run into any issues, seriously, just reach out to us at our support page. We actually have very little tickets right now, so you'll get connected to us fairly quickly. So now is a great time to reach out to us if you have like specific questions. Not to like pump the numbers of our support page or anything, but like, yeah, like it's a great place to go right now to get like more personalized help on any issue you're dealing with in Web3, whatever issue you're having. Let's see. The links you put here in the live chat, can you make them available? Yeah, I think I probably can. I think I might have to add them to the comments. I may have to actually reach out to our EU team because I'm not very knowledgeable on like managing YouTube. I have the live streams down and I have the equipment and setup down, but like actually managing on YouTube, I'm kind of still a novice at that. So I may have to reach out to the EU team. But yeah, I'll definitely take a note of that and try to do that better in the future. And starting with this video. Let's see. Haven't used MetaMask yet. Should you use it or something else besides MetaMask? No, MetaMask is great. Honestly, like I still use MetaMask. There are a lot of other really cool options for connecting to third-party wallets with your Nano, but it's really seamless with MetaMask. And MetaMask still has so many things can connect to MetaMask. And so being able to link your ledger to MetaMask, import your ETH account into MetaMask from your ledger securely, still cold storage, you're just using MetaMask as the interface, that opens up a whole world of possibilities. You saw me probably, if you've been here since the beginning, you probably saw me connect to a couple different dApps throughout like Web3, usually always through MetaMask. If it's ETH, always through MetaMask. And it's just like there are other options, like I said, and it's not, some people would argue it's not even the best wallet, but I just like MetaMask. It's really seamless. It's very safe as long as you go and you connect through the steps for Connect Harbor wallet. Very safe, very seamless. Technically bullish, yeah, man, for sure. You're very welcome. Happy to be here. I love doing these live streams. See, so recovery is not removed, but it's not yet available. So that will be coming out in a future release. You're very welcome, Demario. Happy to help. GTube, yeah, man, for sure. What an awesome way to end this. Like, just a bunch of thanks. Like, you guys are awesome. Yeah, you're very welcome. I love coming out here and doing these. So, yeah, it looks like we're perfectly at time right now. So I'll be doing another live stream Monday, same time, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then another one, Wednesday, a week from today. Then following the next week, the EU team will take back over on Mondays. And honestly, guys, if you haven't gone to the EU's live streams, I definitely recommend checking it out. Those guys are absolute rock stars. Cool. Yeah, no problem, Juan. Yeah, no problem. For sure. Yeah, cool. Well, awesome stream, and thank you for being here with me today. And I hope I was able to help out some of you guys and show you guys some pretty cool stuff. But yeah, if you have other questions, come back to the live stream on Monday, and I'll be more than happy to dive into whatever issues you have. All right. Have a good one, everybody. Stay safe.